Okay, let's get started, shall we? So, last time on heavily modded Satisfactory, well, I'm very frowny today. I'm very frowny. That's better. I suspect that was left over from yesterday, I suspect. If you get Project Zomboid, you can join sometime too. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. So, we got started on the Mega Factory last time, but we're gonna need to do a bunch of work before it's really ready. Our main goals today is to try and get phase 2 at least building. Maybe not done, but at least building. Couple other things we should probably think about doing. Getting the capacitors up and running. Maybe get some coal and sulfur in here to make nobilists. And that second floor needs lighting. It needs lighting badly. So, one thing at a time. Oh, hello. Hello, Frank the Factory Bean. Everything is right in the world. Frank the Factory Bean is here. Let's see. Line this up to what I did last time. All right, so these assemblers are going to be making space elevator parts. Smart plating, versatile framework, automated wiring. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will note there's an alternate recipe in here for automated wiring? This is refined power again. They have a recipe in here for making automated wiring that includes cable and reinforced carbon, which makes me think reinforced carbon squared? I don't know. It requires several levels of processing to make it work. And right now, I don't really think we need to be super efficient about it. We're just trying to, finish this phase. Give it a little color. It's blue, dabba dee da dee. Oh yes, I do like blue. Well, regardless, Silver, I hope you and Kat have fun. When are you going live? If you're still zombieing when I raid it, when I end, I can raid out to you. That would be cool. Last time, we got hydroelectric set up, so we're good on power for a little while. that production number's way above what we're consuming right now. So that's a good thing. We're kind of gonna need that. Because when we start making all of this efficient, oh man. Oh man. All those machines operating at once. Whew. So our first customer over here, smart plating. I put a little note on the right-hand side there with what ingredients go into it. Reinforced iron plates, or rippers, and rotors. Don't ask me what the hell these things do. It's a plate with a rotor in it. Don't at me. Ask Coffee Stain. It's a plate with a rotor in it. And then I run into a power pole. Until we get lighting set up, I'm going to be using the flashlight for a lot of this. Getting lighting set up down here is really going to help. So that's why it's on the to-do list. A zombie survival game, sandbox style. So you're just trying out something new? Is it like FPS or RTS, or what's the perspective? Last I heard, you two hated FPSs. Check my alignment. Why, hello, Sam. It's nice to hear from you. How's 14? Understood. Understood. Wound care to show up. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, self-care. Third-person isometric. Interesting. Is that a preferred format for games for you? Sort of a Diablo clone. And then I run out of material. Joy! Joy, joy, joy. Yeah, Sam had the exact same guess as I did. So, like, a Diablo clone? Because usually when I think third-person isometric, I think, like, Diablo. Hoping to upgrade some of the miners' over at the steel factory too, because it's time to start tweaking that thing to make it produce faster. Because, oh man, we get everything up and running here. You know, everything's a process. Everything's a little bit gradual. Gotta do things by steps. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Sam. Also, given that this is very early on, I kind of want to make sure I'm neat about what I do here. If I make a mess of anything at this point, it could affect everything later. I feel like I need another pole stack right about here-ish. This first one, literally the first thing in the stack here. How neat do I want to be? Now I need to think, where am I coming from rotors? Our first big hurdle, I think, is probably going to be rotors. We have an empty rotor bin. That's not a good sign. We may have to do something about that before we do anything else. We're not going to build anything if nothing's getting produced. I feel like that statement's redundant, but that's also the point. I guess the point I was making. Wire. It's stuck by wire. Okay. It can't get wire fast enough. And it's competing with rippers for wire. A, we need to make the wire more efficient. B, we just need to get it off of that recipe, I think. So, our base version has iron rods. Actually, let's just look it up here. Parts. Rotors. Okay. So this is the one we're using, but it just... Well, go eat, Lavo. Self-care. Bonk you on the head. The base one produces 4 a minute. Uses 25 screws a minute for, or 25 screws each for a total of 100 a minute. We have 270 belts, which is one of our major holdups. This is the one we've been using. Wire is absolutely a sticking point, and steel's going to be fairly soon. So I'm kind of inclined to get off of this one. Do dragons have a high iron diet? I don't even know what's going on now. Then there's this one, which is copper sheets, which I don't even think we're using the copper sheets yet. And screws, which I know we're not using yet. These are both materials we're not using. $195 screws a minute. We have 270 belts. So we have modular load balancers now. So I can equally distribute the load from the screws across 2 belts. The downside is they would need to be dedicated screw belts. But I could make this work. I don't like it because it's screws, but it's not like I'm using either of these materials for anything else right now. Clearing out the materials that were in there. Here, you can have some screws, you can have some screws. Okay, let's go rebelt it. Have I ever played Chrono Trigger? No, I haven't. Tell me about Chrono Trigger. It's a classic Squaresoft RPG from the SNES era, but it uses time travel, including, as per the usual theory, past selves, etc. About what year was this, roughly? Don't need an exact, just like what era. And you mentioned SNES. Because I didn't really have access. 1995. Okay, yeah. I remember my parents were like anti-game. They hated consoles, never had access to one. The only reason I played FF6 on the SNES was because I was sneaking over to a friend's house to do so. So I very much missed a lot of things in that era. In fact, I think about the only thing on the SNES I've ever actually played to any extent was FF6. Yeah, nothing's using this. Actually, let's think this through. The SNES era. Okay. Now, as for the screws, let's not use the splitter, because that essentially halves the amount of screws that we're able to get out to it per minute. No. As I think better of that, let's do it a little more like this. Pretty much the only video games I got to play, like, in the 90s were Apogee games. id Software games. Command and Conquer. The original. StarCraft. Warcraft. The RTSs. Not WoW. WoW was about a decade later. I didn't play WoW, but staying on topic. Time to start using these modular load balancers. So, first things first. Taking the output from this bin that has been holding the screws that have been being made above, what we're gonna do is utilize the load balancer output to set up two screw belts that are operating at belt speed, or as close as we can get. Because they're stackable, we can do this. Now, what the modular load balancers do, besides just split and merge, is everything gets taken in at an equal rate and everything gets sent out at an equal rate. As long as the inputs, and there are two 270 inputs right now from the bin, as long as the inputs can keep up, the outputs should be belt speed. I need to go up and check on it. But it's stuck. So, I did play Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 was hella fun in terms of, like, RTSs. I really enjoyed Warcraft 3. Ah, there's a pipe in there. Don't know where it came from. There we go. That should take care of it. Now, of course, our production rate on screws is not high. That's another thing we're going to have to optimize. Well, I have some issues with the remake. And imagine I'm saying this with air quotes, reforging completely overwrites the old client. Which means if you want to play it vanilla, you can't. It literally goes out and updates itself to the current version. And that was the slimy thing that Blizzard did with the reforging. It is. It's complete bullshit. And Blizzard should hang their head in shame on that one. But, well, Blizzard's got a lot of reasons to feel shame right now. Blizzard has gone from one of the golden darlings of gaming to being one of the worst shit shows on the internet. Right up there with, like, EA, Activision. Oh, wait. The same company that owns Blizzard owns Activision. Oopsie! Well, I guess that was to be expected. You're gonna find me doing this a lot, where it's like, instead of using a belt coming out of a bin where we're keeping stuff, let's put in some modular load balancers. The reason being, of course, is, and you're gonna find me using these modular load balancers all over the place, but I'm trying to distribute the load evenly as I can get it. Yes, the base game splitters can do this. My only issue is they do it horizontally, whereas this can do it vertically. Also, I have some issues with the way the base game splitters load balance, in that they don't. It's very, very easy with the base game splitters to end up with an entire factory that's like all of the materials on the left side, but nothing's on the right side. And even if you give it 2 hours to distribute, it just doesn't. I find the modularity of the modular load balancers incredibly handy. It's like using the base game splitters and mergers, but having verticality and modularity. And yes, there are some specialized modules that we may get into later. But for right now, let's stick to the basics. I mean, you could ask, like, those of us who were City of Heroes players at the time about some of the fucking bullshit that was going on with NCSoft killing City of Heroes. Like, we can rant about that. Some of us were there. Points at Sam, points to myself. It wasn't making enough money. As we have long seen, game companies will shut something down if it's not making all of the money. If they can't have all of the money, they'll kill it. They will not settle for profitable. They will not settle for it's in the black. No, they want all of the money. Yeah, it's like, hey, here is something that was successful and popular, and you just killed it. And a lot of investors looked at that and went, I don't feel comfortable investing in this company after you did this, and who can fucking blame them? There's also the fact that after they killed off City of Heroes, it's like, they didn't really have anything in the Americas. It was just their Korean stuff. And they're like, oh, hey. Maybe we shouldn't have killed this because now we have nothing in that market. Oh yes, absolutely was. And it went down in Hall of Fame as, like, really stupid, shitty video game company moves. And, like, any company that considers being distributed through NCSoft now looks at that and goes, maybe not. rock in the way. There are some things that the base game splitters and mergers can do that modular load balancers can't. And that's things that involve sticking to belts, or in this case, lifts. So each, in the end, has their uses. I'm gonna need some more concrete here. Fuck yeah, concrete. Yeah, but some of us old-timers who were from City of Heroes in the old days still remember and go, It's really hard to get, like, smacked down, lose everything you worked on, and immediately trust again. It's just like, I don't trust like that. And a lot of us are just like, nah, I've moved on. I've moved on. I will play Homecoming with other people, with friends who want to play it with me, but I'm never going to play it on my own. It just doesn't have that interest anymore. Let me look. Hang on. Yeah, automod is a thing that exists. That said, I'm still training it. How's the audio, by the way? I just noticed we have no music. Oh, that's why. Wow, that's a lot of rotors. So, for those who are paying attention, and Lavos already knows this, from the stream on Saturday, I hit affiliate. So, we now have subs and bits, and Lavos, you're a subscriber. You should have a custom channel icon now. Go take a look. From being a subscriber. Tancel also. Yeah. When you have the ability, take a look. Okay. What I needed there was the concrete. Well, it's down in the chat line. You look at the little smiley face icon down in the send message bar. If you click that, there's a menu where you can pick the different, like, little icons and flags that show up next to your name. And if you're a subscriber, you get access to ones that are specific to this channel. I hear you, Spoodler. Well... Do you not see the custom ones? If you don't see the custom ones, I'm going to have to look at that. Silver, are you still around? Yeah, it's a base Twitch one. Yeah, that's I don't actually have any custom emotes yet. That's a project that I'm gonna need to work on. Okay. Notes. Okay. I've made a note. I will look at that later. It may be because it was like... So, subscribers are not seeing their custom badges. We worked at this at like midnight, so it's entirely possible I was sleepy and forgot to throw a switch somewhere. Any idea where I find said switch? I was gonna make a joke about in bed, but that works too. Also, all my blueprints. So, subscribers are not seeing the custom icons that we put in. Lavos is a subscriber, not seeing the custom icons for being a subscriber. But all my organization's gone. I need to take a second and organize this mess. These are basically all the macros that I pulled over from my saves. ADD, must clean it up, must sort it, must clean it. It's a mess, must clean. There's basically 3 categories of different types of blueprints that I'll do. Stacks, buildings, and railroading. Railroading is pretty self-explanatory. Anything that's like related to trains. Buildings, also pretty self-explanatory. Anything that involves factory buildings, which is honestly the majority of this. And stacks, which I will explain in just a moment. Riveting gameplay. Oh, wait. That's railroading. Okay. Apply. So, stacks. What are stacks? A stack, at least for me, keep in mind this is just me, is a blueprint that is literally intended to just be like that. It moves things. Whether pioneers, belts, pipes, whatever. And you repeat them across the map as you're running stuff. They get that instead of the one added to show that they were the very first to ever sub to you. Oh. Oh, that's why you have that particular little emoji, Levos, because you were the first. But yeah, Silver, I'm not talking about the emoji. Do you remember all of the stuff we worked on the other night? We haven't actually done any custom emotes for the channel yet. What is the term that refers to the little icons that go to the left of the chatter's name in the chat? Yeah, Lavos already did use that one. It's not what I'm talking about. Ooh, Spoodler. We're gonna have a problem. Yeah, sub badges. Lavos is not seeing sub badges. Actually, you know what? Don't really need that one at that point. Let's use the other one. Reason being, I only plan to take the hypertube to about this point or so. So this blueprint, not the right one. Let's use one that's just a belt. I hear him, but I don't see him. I know he's around. Okay, but what about the custom sub badges that we did? Like, I hear what you're saying. I don't know if Lavos understands what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying. First space elevator part automated. Next one we're going to work on, versatile framework. This bad boy here. First part, modular frames. Nothing belted on this one yet. So does the first subber just not get the custom ones at all then? You going live, Silver? My alignment on that was skewed. Oops. Okay. If you are still live when I'm done, I will raid into you. Basically, I'm belting the steel beams now, because that's the next ingredient we need for the versatile frameworks. There's always going to be issues right around this little square of the factory, because it's like, this is where all of the belts meet. So trying to do this neatly is a challenge. I may just work this one backwards and meet in the middle. Almost there. Do my best Porkins impression. How can I not have this look completely skewed? Hmm. Yeah, that goes right through something. But something I can move. The idea is to create an area down here that is a viable walking path. Try and keep this clear as much as possible. You know, obviously there's belt stacks on either side, but it's like, this is where we walk. This is where we walk. I'm walking here. Oh, good, it's working. I don't like the skew there. I'm gonna redo that. Again, if I don't fix it now, I'm never gonna fix it later. So yeah, we have customized the subscriber badges. Those are customized out as far as we can do them. They will not allow us to add more until like December. We've also done the custom channel points. I'm hoping in the future to add some redeems, but it's like, for right now, it's the default redeems. And eventually I want to add some custom emotes, but I need an idea first, I guess. Second space elevator part, automated. The first one's almost frickin' done. Ah, the joy of sushi belts. It's kind of a long haul. I could run 3 separate belts if I really wanted to, but it's way more effort than it's worth, I think. Why am I prioritizing the space elevator parts? Well, quite simply because I'm making a dead run towards trains. And then everything's gonna stop when we get trains. Because then it's gonna become train simulator game. Train simulator, but with a factory game attached. Check my work. This is the automated wiring. I think after this, we should focus on getting parts optimized and producing faster, because we've only got a basic setup right now here. How are we doing on rotors? Well, it's keeping up. It's not a full bin, but it's keeping up. That's an improvement. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's not just sitting there empty. So. Parts. Automated wiring. So I can do the reinforced carbon-carbon thing for refined power, and it would produce 8 a minute. The only reason I'm not doing this yet is because I haven't automated coal yet. Because that's gonna, you know, carbon-carbon's gonna take coal, and that's multiple levels of refining. Because you turn the coal into carbon powder, and then you turn the carbon powder into reinforced carbon-carbon. And then you combine it with the cable to make the automated wiring. It's just, I haven't run coal yet. And I need to get this started. Mostly just to get on with the next phase. And I'm going to have something else later that makes almost 8 a minute when we get to the manufacturer era, where we're combining high-speed connectors and wire with stators to make automated wiring at about the same rate. And you better believe I'm going to be building that one. So it comes down to a question of what's more work? One manufacturer or several levels of constructors and assemblers to make this one? Oh, and a material that, you know, I haven't even got yet. Smart plating's done. Notice in the upper right, right under the follower gold, there's a little check mark. That's done. I'm disconnecting it from the sushi belt. So this guy... We're just using the basic recipe for now. These stators and cable. The cable's easy. I've overdone this. Here we go. Beetle bin. And that's one of the 2 parts done. Now we just need to get stators. I think we'll bring it here. Welcome back, Sam. I hope everything went well. Perspective. Okay, there we go. And that should about do it. Hey, Milk! Thank you. I'm glad you're doing okay, Sam. We're automating the last of the 3 parts for phase 3. I think I should go through and tear down bits of this factory and make them more optimal now, because... Oof. I just did a basic setup when I was putting this up. Staters. Now, we need to add this guy to the sushi belt. How's Just Human going, Milk? Speaking of zombie survival games. Join the sushi belt. Ah, very good. Yeah, I dropped in the other night to see how you were going. How things were going. Words. All right. So, we're done with this one. So I'm just going to have this be an overflow channel now. Take out the extra plating. And just delete that belt. I have 16 left over. Not too bad. And here comes the wiring. We're off to the races. I think we should optimize the wire first. Even taking rotors off of the wire, that's still an empty bin. We grossly need to fix the wire situation first. So, it is now time. For blueprints. Which means I need to organize this mess. Early game. Late game. Anything that says Mark 5 belts goes in late game. And now the time that I've been waiting for. Let's see. I want 16 smelters, so 4 groups of 4. And I think for wire, let's do 2 groups of 4. And for copper sheets, 5. I need cable. Blueprinting. Oh, and the other thing we're gonna need, come to think of it, before I go absolutely crazy. Back in Tier 3, the one thing we never finished. The Digby tool. And that's it for Tier 3. An object scanner. Okay, 50 screws. Got it. So the Digby tool is a mod that is an add-on to modular load balancers. One of the biggest problems with modular load balancers is having the ability to blueprint them. The Digby tool solves this problem. Essentially, what happens when you start a modular load balancer group is, as you attach load balancing modules to one another, they create an array that all have the same ID. Now, if you're creating them out of a blueprinter, each and every blueprint you put down is going to have a different array ID. This is a problem because it's like, what happens if you're trying to do a big array? The Digby tool has 2 modes. Well, 3. Merge, split, and Digby being silly. You think I'm kidding? Need some quick wire. Let's make this thing, and you'll see what I mean. Digby being silly. I really need to also optimize the concrete. Stuff to do! But now that I have blueprinting, I'm going to go crazy. Okay, this is the Digby tool. It's basically just another object scanner, except this one is specific for Digby. As you can see from the picture of his face that he put on the front. Look at the options there. Digby? Digby is being silly. Digby is being very silly. But we didn't get it for silliness. We got it for merger mode. Alright, first things first. I'm shutting this guy down. Actually, I never did pick up that cable, did I? I need the cable and the frames. Let me shut the one on the top off, too. Mostly because I want them to, you know, start using up some of the ore, so I don't have a billion pieces of copper ore sitting there filling my inventory. Madness. The dark is going to bother me. But I need to get the quick wire up and working in order to build the lights. One thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Stuff to do! 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Five, 10, 15. That should be about enough. Yay, dinner. So why aren't you over here cooking us dinner, huh? I'm joking. Pretty girls? Where? Where, cat? Are you teasing me? Are you mocking me? Where? I was promised pretty girls, cat. Yes, but I don't have that. At least not at Satisfactory. I'm gonna start off with a Mark II miner. So we double our output. All right, I'm done waiting. Yeah, but you're not here, cat. Got him. My inventory is now full of copper ore. Alright. Eyeball it. I don't want to run into that rock, so I think I'm gonna put about there-ish. A trip to where, though, cat? So the first thing to notice about my blueprints is the load balancers. They are built in. We are gonna load balance this. So 4 groups of 4, line it up, and off we go. Off we go. Why do we need the Digby tool? Because each blueprinted section is its own array. So, we start merging. This solved the problem of blueprinting modular load balancers. They're all the same color now. They're all one big array. Which means anything we feed in will then be load balanced to everything that is outputted. Which, this is all outputs right now. All outputs. So we're gonna have to put 2 inputs. Eyeball it about there. Go for a walk. Yeah, capitalism tends to do that. That's one of its many, many problems. Though, to be fair, like, Lavos has it even worse. Lavos is on the East Coast. You're at least in the same time zone. Let's not forget there's a second copper node up there. I'm just guessing at the height there. I'm gonna go around and tweak it. Actually, let's also put one more input on. But this one, it's just gonna be a bin. I'm gonna put all my copper ore in there. Sand? I don't like sand. It's coarse. It's rough. Just like prequels memes. Automated wiring's almost done. Take you out. Oh yeah, I way overshot with that. Alright, we need some electric. And we'll be good to go. I don't want to eat sand. Don't be ridiculous. If you and I are ever going out, Sam, for whatever reason, and I'm at least taking you someplace nice. I'm clean in what way, cat? I mean, partially what I'm doing is blueprinting. Blueprinting is very handy and very helpful in keeping things neat. And that should have energized that entire copper smelter array. I'm looking at you, Iron. I'm going to do you next. Well, organizing is kind of my thing, Cat. I mean, that's sort of my whole autistic hyperfixation, you know? If you notice the little rings on the power nubs are all white now, it has power. It just needs a recipe. If you're curious about the count, 16 smelters. That's actually double what's needed right now. You know, 2 miners, both Mark II, producing from a pure node, and it's 240 each for a total of 480. Actually, no, that's exactly correct. 480 divided by 16 smelters is 30 exactly, and that's how much it processes. 30 a minute. Exactly even. Of course, when we get to Mark III, all of this math changes and everything gets thrown in the bin, so. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Catch up on the chat. Aw, well, thank you, Cat. I'm not even done. I haven't even started. I barely started. Wait until you see, like, everything when it's done. the autism and the ADHD combined. Little bit of obsessive compulsive, you know? But mostly the autism. Mostly. Okay. Step 1. Let's make something with this nonsense, huh? The big thing I want to start off with is wire. I need wire. I need wire. The only thing is, in terms of copper products, base recipe, copper wire takes 1 copper ingot for 2 spools. Copper sheets, on the other hand, base recipe, 2 copper ingots for 1 thing. So that's a huge difference. Wire isn't going to take very much at all in comparison to the same mass of how much we're producing next to the copper sheets. The copper sheets just chew so much more. Just build a 24 smelter iron factory that's 8 floors after the constructors and assemblers and the logistics murdered my brain. Oh no. 24 smelter iron array. By the way, hello, I'm Easy Gravy. 24 smelter iron array. So that's 24 times 30, so that's 720. 720, that's what? 2 iron nodes or 3 iron nodes that are normal but with Mark III miners? I thought my blueprints were great, but nope. Ooh, I'm so sorry. But the nice thing about blueprints is you can always tweak them up later. How are you defining autistic regression in this usage, Cat? Just so I know. Define your terms! I missed the rocket pack. Trying to get my alignment. Redid it after I replaced the whole thing over and over. I mean, iterating on a design is how you get a really good design. You iterate on it. Goodness knows, this design for these blueprints is what? The 6th iteration of my blueprint? Because it's like the first version was just the constructors. Then I added the beams with the wiring. Then I added the load balancers. Then I added the walkway to make it easier to walk over the darn things. Then I split it into 2 different versions, one with Mark V belts and one with Mark III belts. Keep iterating. I imagine I may change this blueprint again later. So for wire, I figure 2 of these. And then I'm going to do 5 for copper sheets. Something else that I did when I was iterating on my blueprints is the first version had load balancers on the exits. You notice this time it doesn't. Because then when you're putting 2 sets of blueprints back to back like this, you'd have 2 sets of load balancers right next to each other or on top of each other. When really you only need 1. Because the load balancers can handle inputs and outputs just the same way base vanilla Satisfactory's splitters and mergers can. I used to be much better at math, science, and engineering. This game is literally what I was studying in college, Chem E, and you know what happened after the game break my brain. I mean, sometime ask me to tell you the story about me in college and deciding what to major in, or like not deciding. I tend to find that, to a large degree, what we wind up picking in college winds up being what somebody else wants us to be. Not what we actually want to do. At least that was my experience. The family pressure to be X or Y is strong. I would say it's not required, Levis. Alright, have a good dinner, Lavos. Making me hungry. It's almost 4 o'clock. Perfectly load balanced, as all things should be. Now I'm going to pause here for a moment and say, hey, I'm going to take a self-care break. Because I've been at this for 2 hours, and I think it's time to take a self-care break, because we're big on that in this house. So, we'll get back to this in a few minutes. Be right back. Oh, and let's reset the timer. There we go. Okay. Back in business. Back in business. So the first thing we need to do is we need to capture our output here. As Kat put it, if you like it, you should have put a bin on it. Check my work. Okay. There we go. Wire's ready. Now, let's see. Where do we want to go? We want to go there. Math time. 30 output a minute times 8. 240. We should be able to do this in one belt. Let's go downstairs. So we're producing 240 copper wire per minute. Hopefully this deals with our backlog. Not quite lined up where I wanted it, but I can rebuild it where I want it. $240 copper wire a minute. Is that gonna get us through the end game? Oh, hell no. Is it enough to get us going for a while? Sure. Eventually, when we rebuild the North Forest factory, I'm gonna put in a line a lot like this. The only difference is I'm gonna use trains to bring it here. This will get us started. That's all it's supposed to do. Get us started. Like I keep saying, one thing at a time. Off it goes. Next thing is this. Not much has been using it, so it's sitting here backed up. Though we did actually belt it to those rotors. It's so dark. You're so dark. You from the DC universe? Deadpool joke. Sorry. I apologize to anyone who has not seen Deadpool 2. Bloop, bloop. So I'm going to want to do 5 segments. Copper sheets. That's 2. We have 3 to go. Here's the fun thing about modular load balancers. This modular load balancer segment is only copper ingots. So where are we going to put the next line? We need 3 more sections of just copper sheets. Where's that going to go? We start a new row. Line it up, make it look neat. Now here's the part where modular load balancers get a little bit gray area. Their purpose is to, you know, distribute the line, make it perfectly load balanced. That's the point. But what if I told you you can get into softcore teleportation? There's a word I bet you never thought you'd hear. Softcore teleportation. So, copper ingot line. Oh look, copper ingots. Thing is, I could do the same thing without the Digby tool. I would just be running, like, modular load balancer blocks across the factory. The only thing the Digby tool does is saves me that effort. The limitations are you can't jump on a hyper tube while you're modifying a load balancer array. So it has to be at least within walking distance. I miss my rocket pack. I could actually put these close together. I could build these lines close together if I wanted. Problem is, I have absolutely no room to work then. I put like half a foundation in there just so I have room to walk around. One of the things that modular load balancers really does that I like is, of course, that it makes factories a lot smaller. The horizontalness of the base game's splitters and mergers makes them take up so damn much space that it is literally just splitters, mergers, and belts. Annoys the crap out of me. And that was how I found modular load balancers in the first place. I was looking for a solution to that problem. Now all 16 of the smelters are belted into the array. Need some power over here. Power nub. Thank you. Off we go. So. Five segments, 4 constructors each. That's 20 constructors times 10 copper sheets per minute. 200 copper sheets a minute. Not bad for phase 2. But now we need to do a cat and bows. You like it and you need to put a bin on it. Here we go. Starting a new load balancer array. And then I immediately run out of modular frames. Oopsie. Green lights. I like the green lights. Oh yeah. Stitched iron plates going well. Okay. I need modular frames, man. Ooh. Screws bin is empty. That's not good. Yeah, that's rotors that's gonna suffer there. No, it looks like there's a... No, there's an 18 rotor backlog. That's not gonna last long. So yeah, we gotta do the iron next. Meantime, I still need modular frames. Give me 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's get going for a while. We're out of stators, too. One problem at a time. I'd have to look at the stators to figure out, is it the quick wire? Probably. Or the pipes. And could be either one at this point. Till we get everything optimized. Because this same process of tearing down and rebuilding with modular load balancers and blueprints is a process we're going to have to do in the steel factory, too. everything sort of kind of comes to a halt right here until we get this done. Can't merge an array. I haven't built yet. I'm keeping an eye on that row of assemblers because eventually that's going to go all the way to the end. I want to make sure not to foul that. But I think we're in good shape. Mind you, we're not done with copper yet. Still need to do cable. Okay. It's a single array now. We need to give it somewhere to go. Remember what I said about low-key teleportation? You can do this. Let's go for a walk. Is this a little bit, like, exploiting? Probably. Why do I put up with it? Because it makes me save so much on, like build items and just general belt mess. If the belt is literally non-existent. Done. The number's going down. Hey look, phase 2 is almost done. There it is. That's all those copper sheets. 200 a minute. Did I need to do that? No. Did I do that as a demo? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Specifically to demonstrate that. Oh look, Frank the Factory Bean is here. What do you think of the teleportation? He doesn't seem to mind. A sea of green lights. Just the way I like it. Alright. One thing we're gonna do before we leave copper. Nah. You know what? No, no, it's still wrong. These are copper sheets. Let's go over here. Where the copper wire is. A little bit of parkour. And that's cable. Is that gonna make enough cable to get us all the way to endgame? Oh heck no. Oh heck no. Oh heck no. Is it enough to get us by for a little while, considering, like, ooh, hey, look at that. The cable's empty. No? No, not really. I am incorrect. Just the top pin is empty. And leave it. Wire's now making enough that it's saturated the belts and it's now starting to fill them in. That's good. We like that. Yeah, next thing we're gonna have to do is this iron. Just eyeballing it, it looks like iron sheets and screws are falling behind, but iron rods is just sitting there going, doo 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 doo, I'm full. Probably because nothing's using iron rods. Off go the cables. But you know, there's one thing we should probably do before we move on to iron. There's a milestone sitting up there in the upper right that's just been hanging out. Because I needed 300 copper sheets. Well, got the copper sheets now. 200, 400. Oh, oh, oh. Hypertubes.
Milestone reached. Fixit Incorporated has processed and incorporated frequent Pioneer requests for pipe-based personal transport. Introducing Hypertubes. Safe, aesthetic, adaptable, fun. Enjoy a view of your hard work as you soar through incredibly tight turns. Build them today. Note: Fix-It Incorporated is not responsible for any harm caused by irresponsible use of this product.
Talking to you, let's game it out. The inventor of the hypertube cannon. Or at least the popularizer of it. So, let's see. How are we going to do the iron? I'm thinking... The problem is almost nothing uses iron rods. They're almost not even worth calculating into the final equation. We have 4 iron nodes. They're currently using a Mark I miner. But they're pure quality. And they are sitting here backed up. We are mining way more than they are using. 120 a minute. We don't really need to upgrade the miners yet. It's not chewing that much iron. Mind you, when we start going hardcore into this, it might. We'll see. 4 miners, 120 each, 480 total. So, as we established before, 480 ore a minute. Processes at 38 each, that's 16 smelters. Four blueprints of 4 smelters. Okay. Now we have iron ingots. What are we interested in making? Well, we mainly need screws and plates because the rods are... I don't want to say basically worthless, but they're basically worthless. One, 2, 3, 4 for screws. 1, 2, 3 for plates, I'm thinking. Just doing a little bit of math in my head. But we might get this one started. So we didn't actually use all 4 nodes. We used 3. Might as well tap the last one. Just do a Mark I for now. Thing is, we have so much iron. Way more than we're using right now. I can't avoid it. I'm just gonna get a ton of iron ore in my inventory. You know what? I'm gonna just do the autistic thing and put that off. Hey look, phase 2 is almost done! I suppose I could replace this with a hypertube now that we have hypertubes, but... There's the last 4. Three check marks in the upper right. You know what time it is? What is the energy blast that it's using to send the carrier up the tether? Fucking magic, probably. They're not on the list because they're not unlocked. And we're still making versatile frameworks, so... just leave them running. I don't have any in my inventory, so... Oh, yes. We did unlock the hypertubes. Well, we're done with phase 2. We're now on phase 3. This is when things get a little exciting because, of course, oil. Or as Laveau and Cat and Bose have said, this is when it starts to hurt your head. I can understand this because, of course, we're talking about fluids, because that's going to be the big new hot thing, is fluids. We've already had fluids, of course. We've had water, but now we have our second fluid, oil. Dinosaur squeezins. Brontosaurus milk. Just have basic walls. Gonna need to fix that eventually. Hmm. Nah, let's just do this. By the way, there's a mod I'm using there. Faster hypertube entrances. For those of you with ADHD. And regular hypertubes are just too fucking slow. Supersize the speed on your hypertubes by making them go 10 times faster. Is this a cheat? Oh, absolutely. Is it one that I can live without? Absolutely not. This is absolutely essential, especially when I am getting around this world. ADD brain. Yay, I can pull from the bins now! Now I should have a power pole. Yep. We're saving right back there. Come on, there we go. I know the problem there. The problem there is screws. Pretty much the only thing that uses iron rods is the Pioneer. And that's mostly for making smelters. Full bin of Caterium. Nice. Not happy about the concrete, though, but one problem at a time. I need some steel beams. Do I have... I have no backup of steel. Ooh. Okay. Let's take a quick detour and go visit the steel factory, shall we? It needs to be rebuilt with modular load balancers and everything, but we can at least give it Mark II miners. We can probably shut off that extra coal power plant. Don't really need it right now. There you go. It'll eventually rot out and shut down. Yeah, Mark 1 miners. With Mark 2 belts. I haven't been out here since I got the better belts, have I? Everything's yellow. Nothing has enough material. Okay. First things first. Looks like coal is the biggest drag. Yeah. Pain in Steel Town. Hard in High Town. There's a reference none of you are going to get unless you play Dragon Age. I missed. It's still not enough coal. Okay, we're up to 240 a minute times 2 miners. Again, this was designed for Mark III miners and 480 total incoming materials a minute. So that's not surprising to me. That's 240 a minute. Let's see what that's doing. These things have like 50% uptime right now. Don't like it. The iron's not doing great either. Well. I didn't bring enough. All pipes, no beams. Why are the beams having so much trouble? Oh, because I cut the line, that's why. Let's try that again. And just increase its throughput for a little while. I need to get a hypertube out here. Okay, that's going up. Oh, we're up to 60%. That's at least an increase. I'm still not happy about the Mark II belts, but they will suffice for a little while. I don't think we're going to get to lighting tonight. I'm hoping to do the iron at least. Okay, we cleared out the belts. You're not real. That ore is not real. No ore in my inventory. That ore is not real either. Still no ore in my inventory. That's all fake ore. What about these bars? Okay, some of those are real. $27. Not as much as you would think. So let's do what we did before. 16 smelters. Designed for an input of 480 ore. Two, 3, 4. I wonder. Now I've got a bunch of iron ore in my inventory. There we go. Let's see. Ah, conveyor walls. And while we're at it, let's grab the doors too. And maybe some windows. Who wants to make bets on whether I line that up? I did not. And here comes Frank for his inspection. Let's try that again. It looks a little more lined up. Not now, Frank. I'm not ready for inspection right now. Okay. One, two, three. A little skew whiff on the alignment there. And now we should have 480 iron ore a minute. Two down. Three. Four. Electric power. Three and four. The white ring means the power is on. Hello, Lavos. All right. Yeah, but could a cargo disc carry 480 a minute? That's the question. Probably not. Let alone mining, smelting, and crafting it all at the same time. Probably not. Why are you yellow? You're not getting any ore. Why? Ah, that's why. That one's yellow because it's full. Okay, fair enough. Now, previously I said 4 groups of 4 constructors for screws, and then 3 groups of 3 for plates. What it's probably going to wind up is 4 groups of 4 on the second half there, but instead of all 4 being for plates, 1 might make rods. You never know. We might eventually meet them. I don't know. Ah! I just fell down a hole of my own making. Good job. That's why I bought these. They have a little room. To work down there. 1. 2. 3. 'Boing, boing. I missed the jetpack. Gonna put my leftover ingots in this bin. Ah! Boom. Alright, all of this should be plates. Get out your dinner plates, because it's time for earn plates. Iron ingots line. Go crazy. Frank is back for his inspection. You know what? He can inspect. I ain't your boss. No, wrong. Right smack dab in the middle. All said, this should be about 180. 20 times 12. Yeah, 240 iron plates a minute. Yeah, nuggets. Not bad for 240 iron plates a minute. That's our iron plates line. You see, it doesn't like it if you switch modes and do something else. You lose your track then. You also need to be careful not to mix arrays. Like the ore with the ingots, that would be very bad. And a headache to clean up. And off it goes. Okay, that's our first problem sorted. Yeah, the biggie. Screws. I hate screws. I hate screws. Okay. We're gonna need 2 more rows. I might push these together a bit. They're screws, though, so we could share an output line. Move you out of the rock just slightly. 1. 2. 3. I'm out of parts. Oh boy. This could be interesting. The parts I'm out of are all iron dependent. Worst comes to worst, I'm back to handcrafting. No, there's modular frames in the box. Five, 10, 15, 20. Check motors. Yeah, there's motors in the box. 5, 10. And while I'm thinking about it, doop, doop. Eleven, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 constructors, all loaded with the cast screws recipe. Should produce about 800 screws a minute. Now for the fun bit. The iron ingots. That whole side is now running. There we go. All the screws production should now be running. Let's take our final product downstairs. And you can already see the screws going into the bin. One last thing. Iron rods. Should be about 60 rods a minute. Are we going to use that many? Probably not. Well, then you'd better catch it. What are we catching? Three, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Power going. Attached to the iron ingot line. And should be off to the races. And for old-fashioned time's sake, let's just run a good old-fashioned belt. Because they're iron rods, and I don't really care about them. Ah, there it is. There you go. Iron rods. To a bin that's already full. Did we really need it? No. Is it good that we have it? Probably. I'm probably going to want it later. So there you go. We've optimized the copper. We've optimized the iron. We tweaked up the steel factory just a bit. It's going to need some work. Let's start making a to-do list, shall we? Line optimization. Steel factory. Helium. Concrete. Critical. What else? That's all I can think of for the moment. To-do items. Batteries, aka capacitors, as discussed last time. We did the space elevator parts. We're now in the next phase. Coal and sulfur, nobelisks. Lighting on Lore 1. Critical. Because... What is this, Dark Ages? Because I can't even see. As I retype that list. If you hit escape, it deletes everything you just did. But if you actually X out of it, it saves it. Thanks. Okay. So. Who all's around? Cat and Bose is on. Silver's on. The question is, who do we raid? You know which one I'm gonna pick, don't you? All right, we'll pick this up again tomorrow. Maybe work on our to-do list a bit more, and who knows, maybe we'll start with, oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I need to stop and do some self-care. Everybody have a great night. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Go give our love to Cat and Butts. Because you know I'd pick the girl. It's just me.